We're taught that love is enough. That if you just find the right person, it'll all work out. That love conquers all. But here's what I've learned from research, from experience, and from talking to women. Love does not create connection. Welcome to School of Wife, where we treat marriage like the high stakes, high reward life skill it actually is. I'm so glad you're here. And let me just say up front, you're not here because your marriage is broken. You're not here because something is wrong with you. You're here because you refuse to let something this important run on autopilot. I'm Dr. Dosunmu. Welcome. That is everything that I need to know about you. So let's get into it. Let me ask you something. How many years did you spend in school? Think about it. Grade school, high school, college, maybe grad school, professional certifications, continuing education, med school. You spent decades learning how to be excellent at what you do. You've trained, you've studied, you've practiced. And it worked. You're successful. You're competent. You're respected. Congratulations. But here's what I want you to think about. How much training did you get for marriage? I'm serious. Think about it. You wouldn't walk into a boardroom without preparation. Neither would you take on a major project without a strategy. You wouldn't even wing it in your career. But in marriage, we have fairy tales and rom-coms. You have to just figure the rest out by yourself. Maybe we got some advice from well-meaning family members. Maybe we read a book or two. Maybe we even went to a few premarital counseling sessions. But real training, real skill development, for most of us, that didn't happen. And then we wonder why this feels so hard sometimes. That's not a personal failing. That is an education gap. And today, we start closing it. Here's what I need you to hear. And I mean really hear. Highly successful women are not failing at marriage. They are under-trained for it. Let me say that again. You're not failing. You were just never given the tools. Think about what you were trained for. You were trained to perform under pressure. You were trained to solve complex problems, to anticipate what's needed before anyone asks, and to carry the responsibility without complaining. And you do all of that brilliantly. But here's what nobody's told you. Those skills that make you exceptional at work, they don't automatically translate to intimacy. In fact, sometimes they work against it. Efficiency doesn't create connection. Problem solving doesn't build intimacy. And competence doesn't make anyone feel loved. I know that's confusing because everywhere else in life, that's how things work. You optimize a system and it improves. You solve a problem, it goes away. You work hard, you get results. But marriage doesn't operate on that logic. And when highly successful women apply work strategies to their marriages, not because they're doing anything wrong, but because it's what they know, something gets lost. The marriage keeps running, nothing explodes, nothing falls apart. But somewhere along the line, it stops feeling like a relationship. It starts feeling like, well, a well-managed operation. And that is a very lonely place to be. Now, let me go deeper on this because I think it's important to understand why this happens. When you're a capable, competent woman, you see what needs to be done and you do it. You notice the gap and you fill it. You sense the tension and you smooth it. You feel the disconnect and you rationalize it. It's just a busy season. We'll reconnect when things calm down. He's stressed? I should give him space. You adapt. You accommodate, you manage, because that's what you do. And without realizing it, the marriage slowly shifts. You become the manager, the one who holds it all together, the responsible one. And somewhere in that shift, something else happens. You stop being pursued. You stop being the person who's wanted. You become the person who handles things. I want you to sit with that for a second, because I don't think anyone says this out loud. It's not that he doesn't love you. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's that the dynamic has shifted and neither of you quite knows how it happened. Now, here's the thing. This pattern doesn't come from failure. It actually comes from strength. You stepped up because you're capable. You carried more because you could. You kept things running because someone had to. But The cost is real. And if no one names it, it just keeps compounding. Now, here's something else I want you to understand. Most marriages don't fall apart from betrayal. They don't explode from some big dramatic event. They just slowly drift. And drift is what happens when two good people stop moving toward each other. Not on purpose, not maliciously, just incrementally. One missed conversation at a time. One busy week that turns into a busy month. One will connect later that never actually happens. And one day you look up and realize, we love each other, but we feel far apart. Nothing is broken, but nothing is alive either. And I hear this constantly from women like you, women who are crushing it professionally, who have their lives together, who would never let a project at work drift without attention, but in their marriage, it's been on autopilot for years. And here's the truth no one tells you. Drift is reversible. But only if you see it, only if you name it, only if you decide to do something about it. So let me give you a different way to think about this. Marriage is not sustained by love alone. I know that sounds strange. We're taught that love is enough. That if you just find the right person, it'll all work out. That love conquers all. But here's what I've learned from research, from experience, and from talking to women. Love does not create connection. Actually, connection creates love. Let me say that again. Love doesn't create connection. Connection creates love. When you feel connected to your husband, when you feel seen, chosen, pursued, love flows naturally. But when connection fades, love starts to feel like a memory, like something you used to have. But the good news is that connection is a skill, and skills can be learned. And that's what School of Wife is all about. We're not here to fix what's broken. We're here to learn how to tend what's valuable with that same intentionality you bring to everything else in your life. Let me be clear about what School of Wife is. This is not therapy. I'm not diagnosing your marriage. I'm not going to tell you what's wrong with you or your husband. This is not about blame. Not your blame, not his blame. We're not here to point fingers. And this is not about leading or submitting or any of that. This is about marriage education, research proven studies about things that works. We name the patterns that usually stay invisible, and we give you tools to move forward on purpose. And here's the most important thing. You don't need your husband to change first. You don't need to wait for the right moment. You don't need his permission to start. You just need to decide. I want to be intentional about this. I want to learn. I want to do this differently. That's it. That's enough to begin. So, where do we go from here? In the next episode, we're going to dig into something specific, something that might feel personal. We're going to talk about why competent women accidentally starve intimacy. Not on purpose. It's not usually because they don't care. It's just because the very skills that make them exceptional, anticipating, solving, managing, handling, those same skills can quietly suffocate the thing they're trying to protect. I'm going to show you how this pattern works, and I'm going to give you 3 things you can do this week, starting today, to begin shifting it. No big conversations are required. There's no need to wait for him to go first. You just need small moves that create real change. That's episode 2. But for now, I want to leave you with this. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're just ready to learn something no one ever taught you. And that's exactly where you're supposed to be. I'll see you in the next one. Please subscribe.